Massage and Body Works Jacksonville. Let's talk about cancer strategy. A strategy for cancer is, from my viewpoint, not really a strategy using chemo and radiation to kill cancer. Yes, it may work, but at the same time it also kills off your own immune system. From my viewpoint, we've got to come up with a better strategy. What do we know about cancer? We know that cancer starts in the mitochondria. Some type of mitochondrial damage occurs where the normal cells start to transition into a cancer cell. And we know this transition is like a survival mechanism, because the metabolism of a cancer cell is different than a normal cell's. Normal cells use respiration as their metabolism. And the simple way to understand respiration is with oxygen. So they need oxygen to make their ATP or fuel. A cancer cell doesn't use respiration. It ferments its fuel, and simple way to look at fermentation is without oxygen. Main difference between a normal cell and cancer cells now. There's some other differences too with a cancer cell. It becomes immortal, and that's another big difference. They live forever and they start rapidly dividing faster than normal cells. And it's important, when you're evaluating strategies, to understand differences between things, the normal cells and the cancer cells. Because when we can come up with a potential solution, and one solution is to starve off the cancer. Okay, so what do we know about cancer? Type of fuel does cancer survive on? Well, we know it can live on carbohydrates or glucose. Because the way that they can diagnose cancer with a PET scan is areas of your body where there's a high metabolism of glucose. So we can avoid sugar and carbs. That's not that hard, but also cancer can live on certain proteins. So we can lower the carbohydrates in our diet, and we can lower our proteins. How are we going to survive on a low carb, low protein, and low fat diet? What's left? We can consume plants that are loaded with phytonutrients that are anti-cancer. Well, that's great. But what if the person is older and thin? They need certain calories. What if the person just does not have the discipline to do fasting for a week at a time? Or a month at a time? So that gives us another problem, and what are we going to do? Well, there is something you can do, and it really has to do. What I want to share with you right now is the cancer cells compared to normal cells. There is something that's very unique that we can take advantage of. And this has to do with how a cancer cell makes a cancer cell's membrane. It comes from a certain compound called acetyl-CoA. And the only source of this compound that makes the cancer membranes comes from ketones. With normal cells, the cell membranes can be made from other types of fuel sources and materials. But with a cancer cell, only ketones can provide this intermediate material. So you can kind of look at it like this. There are 3 enzymes or pathways or doors that provide this material to make these cellular membranes, and provide fuel. The short name of the enzyme called SCOT. This is an enzyme, it's a door. And if this door is open, then the cancer cells can make its membranes survive and thrive. If this door is shut closed, it cannot. There are certain drugs that are SCOT inhibitors that will help kill cancer and stop it from growing. But they have side effects. They're also natural SCOT inhibitors that potentially can work, and in certain studies, they show that it does work. So what we're doing right now is some actual research on this, using credible scientists. Using a credible study, it's a doable blind study using various SCOT inhibitors. To really prove this theory now, we're not just going to do one study. We're going to do multiple studies over a period of time to really figure this out. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share.